Hello and welcome to Chat Sith Get Banged, the Team Calamity Final Fantasy TCG podcast. I am your host Tom Hall, and today I'm joined as usual by Team Calamity's Mitchell Lander.
Hello.
And joining us as our guest today, not for the first time as well, which is good, is Alex Hancock.
What's up, nerds?
Hello. I was meant to preface you as the real UK's big dog after Boris Johnson.
The real UK's big dog. Yeah. I've been referred to as that before.
So, but I forgot. Yeah. That's good. How's everybody?
Stupendous. Fantastic. Wonderful. Glad to be here, as always.
No, it's good to have you.
Yeah, not bad.
Good. So our plan for today is to talk about the year ahead. So sort of a 2022 of FFTCG, not preview, but just sort of expectations, what we want to see. You're probably thinking, well, it's February already. Well, why only doing it now? A bit lazy. But there's been nothing to talk about because there's been no news. Square Enix have just sort of started up their sort of news cycle for us the last week or so. So finally got little snippets of what to expect for the year. I mean, where do you want to start? Should we talk about where we're at currently? Like, how's everyone finding the game at the moment? I could talk about Team Calamity side in a second, but Alex, are you sort of getting to play?
Not as much as I might like. I was pretty hyped for the set when it came out. I was playing a lot of games online. Unfortunately, store and manage, we had a lot of COVID scares over the Christmas period, so we were trying to get things going. But I mean, I got COVID in December, then a bunch of the other local guys got it basically week after week. So we always had like one or two people out at a time, and it was hard to get everyone together. But we had one last week, and that went well. Everyone seemed to have a good time. Hopefully we can continue to keep firing every week from now on.
Is it sort of same faces from sort of pre-pandemic, or have you lost people?
I wouldn't say lost people. I mean, we're kind of like one of our guys quite likes Yu-Gi-Oh, so he's been playing the new Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel online thing recently, which is basically what everyone wants FF to have. It's a really nice online client for the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG. So he's been doing that more than he's been playing FF, I think. But I've got a few people that like weren't coming as much before. Like one came last week we hadn't seen in a while, which is nice to see. And we've got a few more sort of consistent faces that kind of joined just before or over the COVID period that are still there. So that's great.
That's cool. Probably the Calamity side we had like the virtual stuff going whilst everything was in lockdown, and then everyone got a bit sick of virtual playing. Since we've been able to do stuff, we've had a couple of tournaments, haven't we, Mitch? But not our regular.
Yeah,
our regular weekly slot isn't happening at the moment.
No,
I think probably more for like store logistics and stuff. We normally play Friday nights. That's not happening. I think he's trying to limit how much the shop is open, so he tends to do events when the shop is open. So Saturday and Sundays is like the Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon days. So I think that's up again. But we get the odd sort of Saturday tournament every couple of months. It's been nice. Our team sort of shrunk a little bit. We lost a few people to other games and various reasons. So we've got a little core that still comes. But if we get it running more regular, hopefully we can sort of build it a bit.
Boost the numbers again.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a bit hard to sort of keep it going, but generally, how have we found when we have been able to play, or just looking at sort of tournaments happening elsewhere? There's been a few community tournaments. How are we finding the sort of meta state? To me personally, it's a bit of a shame there is nothing going on, because I feel like it's quite a nice place in terms of actual decks, etc.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's the best place the game has been in for quite a while, to be honest. Like, that was a lot in part due to the bans that happened at the end of last year, but it was just a case of like, yeah, you've got the best deck, which is Sky Pirates, which most people know and respect, but it's like not a completely unbeatable deck. It feels stronger than most of what, I've been able to come up with or seen, but it's not like unbeatable. It's not like there's nothing that feels quite so ridiculous that you just can't ever beat what it's doing. So in that sense, yeah, when the best deck is a kind of good like mid-range deck that has good options and strong plays, but isn't like Stern Leonis level of, you know, remove your break zone to destroy their entire board kind of strong, then it feels good.
Yeah, I suppose it's no surprise when we had that Hobby Japan stream last weekend, I think it was. No surprise it was Samurais versus Sky Pirates that they events. Probably the two best decks, stroke most consistent, I guess. But I still think outside of that, if there was a big tournament, you could take different things. You could try sort of not off meta, I guess. But you could try different things without and have a chance or have fun. Whereas I think in previous metas, it's been if you stray outside of the one or two decks, you're sort of severely hampering your chance of doing well. So for me, that's been quite refreshing. The stuff we have had to chance to play, I have enjoyed it from that side. So yeah, it is a shame there's nothing going on really. So I think it would be good. I suppose the next thing is like Square Enix themselves coming out with a bit of news. Probably wasn't quite the news everyone wanted to hear. They seem very much focused on releases as normal. Obviously, they've been delayed a little bit, unsurprisingly. There's still problems with the supply chains and stuff. Have you been? We talked about it before. Everyone's a bit disappointed because we couldn't play, but we understood. Have you been sort of a bit disappointed with the sort of prognosis for organised play and stuff that's coming out?
Me personally, like, there's been the regional distributors have started putting like sending out emails, and in places like Italy and Spain, I think they've already started running regional events to lead up to a nationals later in the year. And I think Square will probably play it by ear if they want to do a European Championship or a big US national championship. Once we have a better idea of COVID cases going down, whether it's actually safe to have more than, I don't know, 30 people in a room together. But yeah, I kind of do wish there would be a little bit more on this. Like the regionals feel very much like a rehash of what they've been trying to do the past couple of years. And I think it would just be nice to have something a bit more interesting. Like I'm not saying, give out, FF7 reunion promos like the Aerith, try and do something like that, but just something a bit more interesting than just, yeah, this is your regional tournament. All it really does is give you buys for nationals. There's no like big hype to get everyone back playing. Hopefully it does anyway. Any sign of competitive circuit should should re-energize players, but I feel like there could be a little bit more going on.
Yeah, Mitch, you're sort of struggling with the sort of meta side because you're the sort of player that would spend the set sort of trying to create something that's going to take down the meta or sort of come up with your own thing, and because there's nothing really happening, you've sort of lost the impetus to do anything like that, I guess.
Yeah, as I said, like that's normally where I will like make my deck different. Is I'll look at what's meta and be like, how do I counter that with the deck that I've got, and not knowing with no big tournaments or anything like that, it's really making a hampering on my deck creating skills. But then also, I have got the option to play any element at the moment. I feel maybe apart from ice because no one plays ice anymore. But you've got 5 elements to pick from, so it's more spoilt for choice. But then also without the tournaments, I can't really put good testing in. So
Yeah,
so
we've got some suggestions coming in. K-Town saying they've actually, I think they're starting to outgrow Yu-Gi-Oh in their store, which is pretty cool. Someone suggested making their own events with hookers and Final Fantasy. I mean, might bring people in. I don't know. One thing, maybe they could supply that. Square Enix could. It's a little regional kit. Smaller shop regionals. Smaller shop regionals. So yeah, sort of. I feel they're at the situation. Obviously, it's understandable why we can't have like a big roadmap of all the regionals and worlds and Europe and qualifiers and American qualifiers and all this, because they just don't know what's going to happen. Things are changing all the time. Every country is different as well. Like UK, generally we've sort of given up on restrictions and it's kind of a free for all. But most people still aren't really, still a bit cautious. But technically, we could probably, within the rules, we'd be allowed to do stuff. I think it's similar in America. I think Canada is a bit more strict and stuff like that. So everywhere's different. I feel like they should be plugging more into the sort of community side, like this smaller regional sort of suggestion. So you'd have like more, like you said, we had the ARF promo pack, more stuff like that where you're sort of rewarded for hosting like little community events and things like that, just to encourage people to put stuff on and make it worthwhile. I think that's where we've sort of been lacking probably through this whole pandemic, is the sort of connection points and sort of emphasis on the playing side. Do you guys think there's something there? Or?
I mean, I'd like. I remember when we kind of started getting back to things after COVID, we got sent my store. We got sent like a, I guess call it like a hamper from Asmodee, the UK distributor, like with kind of all sorts of goodies that were free of charge. They just sort of sent it to a lot of stores that had been still supporting all the games during COVID, but obviously hadn't been able to run events. And it was just all sorts of fun little things. Some of it was really good. And it would be nice if, like, maybe if, the reason I don't like the regional thing as much is because it doesn't feel like Square, at least, are supplying enough to make people want to kind of jump back into it. Like, if they just said, here's something really cool, rather than just, a mat and some booster packs, there was something really cool, then that would be, the first thing that always comes to mind is like a play arts, which doesn't necessarily appeal to all the players, but just something that we wouldn't expect to see from a regional, just to get people thinking, yeah, man, that's really cool. I'd like to win that. I'd like to be motivated to play again because I can win some big prizes. It might seem a bit overblown, but it would get people excited and talking about the game again, I think, and it would be a nice gesture on their part.
Yeah, I've mentioned this to you, Mitch. I don't know, you might know more about this. It's a sort of an older thing. In America, they used to do like a community support. I think it was called Summoners Cup. It might have been called something different, but it was basically the different areas could apply to host that month's Summoners Cup, and then if you got selected, they sent you loads of swag with like play arts and stuff. Does that ring a bell with you, Alex?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, so it was like you organise a community event or like a bigger event, and then you apply to the list or Square Enix list or something, and then they would pick the one for that month, and that would be the official Summoners Cup or whatever it's called, and then you get sent loads of stuff. I feel like they should try and revisit something like that. Just scrap all the regionals and stuff, because I think the nationals now is open house anyway. So if it gets to a point that you could do a national tournament, it's going to be open house anyway. Last time the buy stuff didn't work anyway.
True.
Yeah.
So just like save that for like a big blowout when it can happen, and in the meantime, just encourage everyone to try and get together and I don't know. But yeah, it's weird. I understand where they're at. I also mentioned this to Mitch. I've been doing my fact hunting. So I know this has come up before in the forums. I think some people got a bit angry about it. But in the sort of financials and stuff, Square Enix categorise FFTCG as merchandise. And that angers people because it's obviously not part of their gaming franchise. It's just merch. So it shows there's a focus on producing and selling cards to people who want to buy the cards. We can talk about it a bit if we talk about the community later on. A big part of this player base are people who like Final Fantasy first rather than trading card games. So they're here because they like Final Fantasy. And Final Fantasy tends to attract collectors. They want to collect things and stuff. So I think probably the numbers wise, they're selling the amount of cards. They're not losing money on it. They're probably making some money and they're quite happy where it sits. So I don't think there's that real drive to really focus on the playing side, and that's probably where most of the players' frustrations are coming from.
I imagine like during like the COVID times, they're also standoffish on how much money they want to put in certain things, because Final Fantasy isn't as big as much as we would like it to be. It's not as big as Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and Magic the Gathering. So if they put a lot of money into it and then suddenly everyone stops playing, then they've just lost all of that money. And obviously during COVID and everything like that, you can't just throw money away in the business knowing that you're going to make it back later on. It's 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 annoying, but it makes sense from like a business point of view. But as I said, as a player base, I wish we'd just be more open about it and just be like, this is what we're doing, because we want. I don't know if they were just more open, we could like judge. If they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to do like big tournaments later on in the year," then, but not early on in the year, then people could be like, "Right, I'm going to organise a player created like Summoners Cup sort of thing at the beginning of the year." But because we don't know, if we said, "Oh yeah, we're going to host a regional in July," and then suddenly Square Enix come out in June and say we're going to do a national Zen,
Yeah.
no one's going to go to that. No one's going to go to that regional. So it's it just needs more. We just want more clarity on it.
Yeah, there's
And
still
then
no point to go to a regional at the moment because we don't know what's happening anyway. So, how are we going to... We host a Calamity regional, for example. How are we going to get people to come? Because there's no end goal for it. Other than here's a chance to come and play Final Fantasy in person. So, yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like I said, it should be open. If they just say there's going to be no events, and when we can, we're going to try and put on a bigger one or a couple of bigger ones later on in the year. This will be the focus. Don't try and keep it going yourselves, and when we can, we'll do a big one rather than trying to sort of pretend that everything's going to be normal all of a sudden and they'll just get back onto how it was before. There's not much sort of creative thinking going on. So yeah, I think that's probably when people are getting frustrated. And it feels like an easy-ish fix as well, because most of it is around just sort of not being more honest, but just being more open about it. I know the last post, sort of their sort of kicking off the year, they sort of tried to address it a bit and like, yeah, look, we understand everyone's a bit bummed out and they don't know what's going on and stuff, and we're going to try and we're listening. And everyone's like, oh, that's great, they're listening, thanks for acknowledging it. But then it's just gone back to here's card of the week, and because the set's been delayed, we're going to do more card of the weeks, so we'll just spoil more of the set for you rather than sort of anything else. So yeah, a bit weird. And also sort of the other side of it, this is a bit of a Tom monologue at the moment. We've got like community reps, haven't we, that from the Square Enix team. So we've got an EU, I don't know what their official title is, I think they're tabletop manager or something. That in the EU, there's one in America, so Rochelle in America. It's sort of like the community touch points. I know Rochelle's a little bit more active in America, but Gem is kind of quiet from them, probably because they don't know what's going on either. So yeah, it's different. Just need to hear more, I think, and have a bit more of a plan. But yeah, I would focus on the community side, not worry about trying to get like a proper structure, and just try and focus on getting people playing and giving them something to play for, even if it's just a one-off little mini events, little community stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. It would be nice, as I said, but then said it's still early in the year, so I think everything's like, even no one expected the delays on the set either, and I think things have just, because we've got to think like, well, it might be okay. For example, us three live in the UK. It's looking better for COVID in the UK, but I know in Japan, Kagion was literally said, I think it was like a week or so ago, that the numbers are just like the highest that they've ever been, or something like that, or they've just been like gone up a lot more recently. So they're going to be struggling. So while it might be all right here, it's not over there. So we just have to, because ultimately the cards come, like all the work comes from there and then is distributed. So like Square Enix tend to they obviously have the final say on everything. So if all the reps are saying like, we can't tell you anything yet, ultimately it comes from that side. So
yeah, no, it's fair enough. It is understandable, but I can see why people get frustrated. And also, you can get this situation where they have done stuff like those Airif promo mats and stuff like the special cards, and a lot of the stores didn't get them, and then the people that got them now just sell them off for like crazy prices. And the best way to get an Aerith mat is to buy it rather than try and win it. So it's like kind of a double-edged sword. Then when they do stuff, it kind of abuses maybe a little bit harsh, but like the intention gets taken away. And
I think abused is fine.
okay, abused. So yeah, it did get abused a bit, and like our store, we didn't manage to get that promo kit with the Aerith, but I don't know if it was just like our store manager wasn't able to order it, or we sort of did prompt him that it might be available. I don't think he ever managed to see it in the system to order it. And
Yeah, when I spoke to him, he did say he did try and get it, but I said I don't know if it was, as you said, I don't know if it was too late or something like that. But as soon as we knew, we told him. But I said I don't know if there was like I imagine there wasn't a limit on how many you could order, and that might have been where it messed up. I don't know if Alex would know more.
Well, there's supposed to be a limit of of one and basically a maximum of two, but yeah.
And then suddenly people ended up with like 8 to 10 or stuff like that. And
yeah,
it just meant certain stores just didn't see it. So
you'll find that people at Asmodee have more concerning matter to attend to than if a store gets a couple of extra Union kits, to be honest.
Yeah, probably. but my problem's important.
Yeah, I just want one of them. I don't want to pay like £300 for it. I'd be happy with a non-foil because I wouldn't win the foil anyway, even if I had a chance. But yeah, okay. But yeah, I think things will get better. And it sounds a bit negative and moany. I think things will get better. I think people just need to maybe we just need to lower our expectations and just sort of take it on ourselves. Try and keep your little bubbles going, and then I would imagine at some point in this, by the end of the year at least, if not earlier, sort of mid-year, stuff will happen. There'll be some official things, and then sort of everyone can go crazy. And I know America seems to be running some bigger stuff, sort of community-wise. I guess there's different restriction levels and stuff, so it is possible. And I know with the UK one, they did that the Welsh Cup at the end of the year, and I think they managed to drum up some support from sort of prizing support, didn't they, in the end from Square Enix?
Yeah, I think
so that's pretty cool. So maybe it is open, and we just need to sort of knock on the door and take it to them and say, yes, we can do this and stuff. So yeah, it would be nice to play a game, because I must say the product stuff that's coming out now is all really, really good. This year, in terms of product, it's looking really good. Should we talk about that? Because it's a bit more exciting.
You're just excited for the
FF10. I'm so excited for. Yeah, so the things we've got coming out on the horizon are the FF10 double starter deck. Well, it's not a 2-player one. It's a double starter deck, isn't it? It's a new type of design. We then got the new set, something about light, isn't it? I forget what the
Emissaries of Light, is it?
Is that the one after? No, it is Emissaries of Light, and then the next one is Rebellion's Call. That's right. So we've got a couple of new sets coming out. I really want to see this FF10 deck. So if you've not seen it, you probably have. It's not a 2-player starter deck. It's a double deck. So it's basically one wind water deck, and then they give you the other half fire, so that you can combine to make like a water fire deck or a water wind. Well, it starts with a war wind, doesn't it? And then like a fire wind or something if you wanted. So you can like mix them up, which is quite a nice little concept. The cards look pretty cool as well. I'm hoping they're going to spoil them all. I think there's a stream actually booked for the weekend, isn't there, where they're going to show more of them.
Yeah, as far as I think so, yeah.
So I'm pretty hyped for that. The stuff we looked at, it looks all right. The cards coming out, and that's another thing as well. They've started to do these like streams now. So there was the live stream from Hobby Japan over in Japan, where they had the sort of the gameplay and commentary, a couple of spoilers, which is cool, and then there's this one coming up as well. So that's really cool if they start getting this going, even if it's just like YouTube every few weeks or once a month, like a YouTube stream where they talk about the game and do something. That would be really cool as well. Might bridge the gap a bit. So looking forward to that. And then you've got this new collector's box, which is like kind of like a reprint box. It's the sort of little square box with Squall on the front. You get loads of new cards, like promo cards exclusive to the box, and those are reprints. That looks pretty cool as well, particularly if you're a newish player. You can get your hands on some of the older stuff. So that's looking good. So yeah, lots of cool stuff is coming. Are you guys excited for that?
I mean, yeah, the reprint box is
trying to hype here.
the
Get us
reprint
out of
box
the
is
gloom.
cool. Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if they can somehow like combine that with some new player marketing, rather than just say, here's your box stores, try and get people into it. Yo, do you want to play the Final Fantasy TCG? There's this box here that gives you everything you could need in one tiny little $39.99 package or something. But yeah, it's a cool thing. The FF10 deck. I mean, it's nice they're trying a new direction with the starter decks. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the FFTCG product design, so maybe I shouldn't talk too much about it. But I just wish there was a little bit more done in terms of like foils or legend reprints or any kind of decent reprint, to be honest. Because when the FF7 Shinra versus Avalanche decks came in, and I hadn't realized up until that point the Cloud and Rufus weren't foil. As a store manager at that point, I looked at that product and think, wow, we're going to sell about 6 of these, and we're left with about 20, just because they couldn't be bothered to make it a foil full art this time like the other deck. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
always a weird choice when they don't foil those full arts. Because like you said, you instantly get half the player base buying free copies of the deck because they just want the free foils.
Yeah. Just gives it a lot more resaleability as well, right? Because like the Cloud and Sephiroth from the 2-player deck, the full arts tended to be worth about the same cost as the deck at retail. So it was like you always felt like you're getting your money's worth. And now with how late that starter deck came out too, it was like, yeah, you got the starter deck for a few weeks, and then you can just go and get the foils of the starter cards if you want. Instead, you don't need the starter deck anymore.
Yeah. I mean, did they ever say why they just didn't foil it? Was it just a?
They didn't. I mean, it might just be a case of they didn't want to devalue the foils in the set. I don't know. They could give me any bad reason for it, and I'll tell you, as a person trying to sell the product, it's one of the worst decisions they've made as a company regarding product release.
I mean, we're trying to keep this light, so let's move on.
Well, the final,
sorry about
the FF10 one is foiled, I believe. The special cards on that.
God, I hope so.
I think the Tidus is foil. It's the light Tidus. I'm pretty sure it is. So don't quote me on it. I'm pretty sure it is.
It better be. I'm gonna be on the phone to some people.
So no.
I'll just read the description now and see if it is. No. Keep
They're quite cagey with the wording as well, because it's like premium means it's the foil, isn't it?
It says one full art premium card.
Okay, there you go. There you go, Alex. You can sell the whole box.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, until you read the cards and realise that they're questionable.
Yeah, I hope they're good. The ones I've seen look pretty good. I think it looks like a nice set. I'm a big fan of when they do the game, like the movies from the game art. So it's like the renders from the cutscene renders. I think that was quite cool. So that's cool. And then we've started to see some sprinklings of the next set coming through. So I think this set's going to be sort of resolving the crystal side. So we should see a lot more crystal abilities coming in, because I think that's normally like a double set, isn't it? Like they did with the multi-elements.
It'll be triple. I think it'll be triple, because you got two crystals this set, and then you get 2 colors next set, and then 2 more after that, I think.
Okay, so we've got a bit more fleshing out of the crystals. That kind of felt like a cool mechanic that hasn't really sort of kicked off, because it needs a bit more fleshing out. So that'd be cool if that sort of develops. And I'm sure I saw on Twitter Kageyama was talking about a new mechanic that was coming in. Is there anything you think you'd like to see in terms of like new mechanics or something that might freshen it up? So the crystal thing is one thing. It's like I said, it's not exactly game breaking or massively different.
I wouldn't seeing a new type of card at this point. I think it's been long enough that we can see a new what would we call it? What's the
just don't call it Aerith or Cloud, and call it whatever you
want.
want.
Well, no, yeah. But like in addition to monsters, summons, forwards, backups, like something else, like just off the top of my head, like locations or weapons like they did in chapters. I mean, apparently weapons weren't the greatest idea in the world back in chapters, but just something extra would be nice to see.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, so yeah, chapters did have I think it was called like items, wasn't it? So there was weapons and
They had equipment, I remember.
equipment. Okay,
Something
that's what it's called. Which is so like on theme as well for Final Fantasy, because it's a game
Yeah.
where you're constantly re-equipping different armor, different weapons, potions, all that sort of stuff. So it would be very fitting.
You could
to
do
get
something
that in.
like
That'd be pretty
you
cool.
could do something like spells or something like that, and you could like say Thundarga, and it'd be like you could only can cast this if you control like an FF9 forward or something like that, or Bolt 3 only if you control an FF7 character, something more streamlined than
Well, like
just...
a summon tailored to a category kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, good work. They tend to save the spells for like specials, though, don't they? There's a few of like the Thundargas and stuff like that.
Yeah,
as a
that's true.
special.
But then they print a million Aeriths, so I don't think they'll mind if they have a few Thundargas.
What would the card art look like? Just a lightning bolt.
It's just like a Harry Potter scar.
Some random like zombie getting electrocuted or something.
Yeah, there you go. See? Tom said he liked game art on the cards. We can just have that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, you have the little damage number on the top, like 237 damage or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the obvious mechanic will be the double characters. Well, in fact, we've seen that now because it's in that's the collector's box or the reprint box, whatever you call it, has got a double character. It's got a Unitidus double character card, which might just be like a fancy promo. But in chapters they did that as well, didn't they? Where they had dual characters all in one card, so it's like a super strong card. That one I can think of was a Snow and Lightning, so it's like the card's called Snow and Lightning, and if you play that you can't play Snow or Lightning as another card, but it was like a super combo card. I don't know what it did, but apparently they were a bit much stronger than a normal sort of legend. And
Yeah.
could be an obvious mechanic that they bring in. Not sure how that will work, just because the way they distribute character names. So that will really screw you over. If there's like a Cloud Aerith or something.
They might even do Cloud at this point.
Cloud, yeah. I guess Cloud sells, isn't it? There's a lot of
We'll
clouds.
do Cloud Squall, weather combo, something like that.
Cloud School. Oh, I just got it. Oh dear.
Bloody hell. But it's gonna. I think they're limiting themselves because of these name things. Like again, like I was probably going to get into it later on, but the Aerith issue of it being an Aerith means that, especially with the new one that's just been spoiled, you're not going to be able to play the other Aeriths, and it means it's really. I don't see this one being good enough, so it means that this is right this second. I don't see it being the best Aerith, so I feel like it's a wasted legend, and that's going to be an issue going forward. So if they did say they did a legend sedan in wind, and it wasn't it didn't remove a card from the hand like the 3-drop or something like that, it would be a wasted legend, and it would also be a wasted card. It would be a wasted mechanic. So I think they need to be really careful about how they do things with these new cards, if they go down that route.
Let me bring up these new cards whilst we're talking about them.
At least the Aerith is Earth, at least it's a different element. Not just another like wind card or whatever. It's nice to see when characters make a transition to a different element. Apparently we're getting card of the week this week. Is there going to be another different element?
Different element, yeah, but someone who's already in 2 other elements.
Yep.
Which is again, I find it annoying.
Locke.
We talked about size. Well, apparently Locke's in 3 elements because he's in light, which I did forget about. So that would potentially rule Locke out, but I wouldn't ever rule a Locke legend. Just because he seems to love him so much. But yeah, we talk about it a lot, card name clash and I know why they do it and why it's a thing, but it does feel sometimes there could be a little bit more diversity. I've got the Aerith up on the screen. In essence, kind of interesting card, pretty cool, but for the fact it's called Aerith, and as you said, it's going to limit. You can't play all the other ones. Your nice shiny promo Aerith that you paid 500 quid for, you won't be able to play it. What do you think of this Aerith, Alex?
Yeah, I think it's alright. Like, it's one of those ones that's too generic to really know if it's going to be good before you actually start playing with it. Like, there's nothing particularly exciting about it. Like, the re-raise thing is a cool flavor thing. It's not going to really... It'll come up. It would happen in games, but there'll be a lot of times where, you never expect the re-raise thing to go off. You just use it for a nice little 2k buff. But historically, 2CP Earth forwards have been substantially above average. So much so that one of them got limited to one. So, I have high hopes.
Mitch, you kind of on the fence of it, were you?
No, I think it's dog shit.
Oh, okay. I thought you were liking it when it first came out.
Yeah, but that was before I realised that it doesn't get removed, come back with Shantotto or anything like that.
Oh,
So,
yeah, you were hoping. Mitch thought he'd like crack the ultimate thing that if they Shantotted it, it would then do the re-raise effect, even though it hadn't, because it's out of the game. It would get the re-raise effect because it had no counters on it, sort of instantly. But that's been sort of slapped down on Twitter. That's not a thing.
Conditional autos and all of that.
The old
sort
conditional auto.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah,
out of jail card.
Got a lot of strong implications if you let it come back for free of being removed by another effect, like Lady Lilith and stuff. But I admire admire your dreaming.
I mean, yeah, that might have been where I was going with it, and maybe I'm just upset that that's not working anymore, so I don't like it. But I think 3 turns is a long time as well. Like,
It is a long time.
so then would you run more of these? Because then you risk it just staying removed. I suppose it doesn't cost anything to be removed, really.
I mean, you're getting enough. Like with Aerith, you have enough generic FF7 characters now that you can play like the Jessie 3-drop that searches for them. Like, because before, whenever you're searching FF7 characters in Earth, you're usually just searching like Avalanche operatives or cards that required other FF7 characters like Tifa and like Cloud. But now with Aerith and like Kadaj, there you go, you got 2 generic targets. So that in itself might be worth just playing, slotting in an Aerith or 2/4, and if Fenrir is, seems to be like a good card, then that'll be a good target for it.
I'm not convinced, but I'll bow to your superior knowledge.
I mean, if you had another Aerith on the field and you've got the removed one, if it's got the no counters, will it just sit there until that one goes and then come in, or will it just wipe the effect and then it's done?
Read it really quick.
No, it'd be like Kadaj where it just stays removed because you've already got a.
So it triggers the turn that the counters are gone. If there are no counters on Aerith, play Aerith. Because if there's another Aerith, that just wipes it and it's gone forever.
Yeah, basically, it needs to have a re-raise count to come back, and if it doesn't come back, it won't try and remove a re-raise counter again. It's got the horrible. It's got the horrible translation like Omega has. If one or more re-raise counters are placed on Aerith, like I say, it reads so weird. It's like if you are somehow able to place one from outside of the game, you trigger the effect or something. That's weird. I don't like that. But
I mean, this card would obviously become good if there is something that messes around with counters. Like, I don't know, something that you can remove a counter or you can add a counter to a card in the game or something like that. Yeah, because it'd also be one that it can't be something that you control because you won't control Aerith.
Yeah, you can't do it with Sid FFTCG. It has to be a character opponent controller. So I don't think there's going to be something that will let you manipulate it. But
you'd have to have the counters added to a card that's removed from game as well, which is going to be even clunkier, isn't it? So...
Well,
it's a little weird.
It might be worded something like choose one card with counters on it, and then it wouldn't actually restrict where it is. But I think they're more interested in adding more counters than removing them at the moment.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the cards that we've had. We've had more spoiled than I realised. I'm just looking at them now. We've got a Cloud. Do you remember that backup Cloud? Don't think that's going to get played.
Yeah,
Cecil.
completely forgot about it, to be honest. But yeah.
So we've got
sure.
these are the names we've had: Cloud, Cecil, Heretical Knight Garland, Aerith, Zac, Vivi, Warrior of Light. Forget the starter cards because obviously they're going to be named. So lots of familiar names. There is one new name, Twintania, which is a monster. That looks pretty cool. Another 2-drop though, sort of in the realms of 2-drop cards being awesome. That one looked quite cool. I don't know if you remember this one. So Twintania is a monster. Well, it's a forward, but it's a monster in all situations as well. And it comes in dull. And when it comes in the field or when it's active and becomes dull, you get a Giga Flare counter to place onto Twintania. And during your main phase 1, during each turn, or each of your turns, I should say, you can remove 1 Giga Flare counter and do some forward 7,000 damage. That's quite good. Quite like this one. It's 8k as well. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Did you like Twintania? Nice to see some monsters. I know you're talking about getting a new type of card, but we don't really have good monsters yet. So it'd be nice to get some good monsters. Kind of is one. Anything nice with this one? Or?
I haven't really looked into it. I know some people are excited about it, having a monster forward or just a light dark monster. Like you got that 5-drop realm that can bring it out from the deck, and if your opponent doesn't remove it, it's threatening 7k every turn basically, which is kind of cool. Like it's probably fine. It's also incredibly vulnerable to nearly every single form of removal in the game because being dark and a monster and a forward
and
means everything. Everything kills you, even if by accident.
Yeah, actually, that Noctis kills it, isn't it, on a party attack?
I mean,
even the old one kills it. The Warp Strike.
Oh yeah, Warp Strike. I used to like Warp Strike, Noctis.
It's one step away from it. Like if it was 7k as well, you'd have to. Oh, never mind. I think there's literally anything that can kill this card is.
Yeah, if it was 7k to kill itself, that would be nice.
No, well, I was about to say that, but
I know its opponent controls it.
Yeah. It's not that deep.
Oh, that'd be cool.
just destined to die. But it's an interesting card. Like I like these mechanics of making monsters more accessible and stuff like that, and it makes me think like there's certain cards that have never seen play that could see play if they brought out more stuff like this. I mean, I don't think this is the one enough to make this cards like, was it Quattro Queen and
I've seen people talking about that sort of stuff. I think it's
I don't think that's going to make that card good, but if they brought out more it is also a monster in all situations sort of cards, that's when you start looking at those cards. So I hope that they do more interesting stuff like that, but I'm not going to hold my breath for it. And as I said, this...
Sorry, I was just random. I was wondering, so the past few, basically for a very long time now, every single light or dark card has been a mirror of each other. So not since Opus 2 have we not had a light or dark card that doesn't mirror each other. Maybe a bit later than that, but we had Lena and Exdeath, Arden, Noctis, Noxuzaku, and Ace. They're all from the same game. The one thing I've been trying to figure out is which character is going to mirror Twintania in Final Fantasy V. Is it going to be? Is it going to be I was thinking, is it going to be another Shinryu? Is it going to be another monster themed card? What light monster could there be, or is it just going to be a Faris or a Bartz or something like that, just randomly in the hero slot?
I haven't played 5, so I couldn't tell you. But
I don't really know because I don't know Twintania. I don't know because I know you've played 5.
Twintania is a boss in the final dungeon.
In fact, he's called Twintania. Does that mean there's a twin version?
I don't think so. It's just in the game. It's just like a generic behemoth-looking enemy.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it does the Giga Flare thing. It's like one of those ones where you
have to
you beat up on it a bit, and then it builds up to Giga Flare. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe is it going to be a Gilgamesh that's a monster in all situations, or is there going to be a forward that this is also a summon in all situations? What kind of the possibilities are endless once you open.
I was thinking that, Oh no, I know. I just my brain sort of hurt from thinking how the hell would that work.
Yeah.
But it, yeah, if they did something like that, that would be really interesting, and I think it could open up like loads of possibilities on stuff that you could do. Like imagine any card that some searches as summon, like Rydia or something like that, now searches this card. Like I thought, because we've seen this monster be this forward be a monster in all situations before. But if they added something new, like as you said with the summons, I think it would like really open up the creativity that going forward.
This
And
is
it could actually
classic
really
spoiler season syndrome. Everyone
Yeah.
starts getting excited and coming up with all these. We do this all the time on our like Team Calamity chat. We all start like hyping and designing cards, and imagine if we get this and this, and then all the egg ever gets to it's another Kane. Okay, Edge,
Yeah.
yay, Edge, Lock,
it's just going to be a Bart's legend, and it's just
yeah,
going to
and
be
it's like and then just
Well,
all
yeah,
these
it's gonna be
dreams just get
it's gonna be
crushed. And then,
it's gonna be a hero, and the fact that it's twin chaining, like because you had Emperor Gaston and Locke. I remember that was the one the hero pairings. I guess Ace and Noxuzaku, like you got the main character, and then like a super boss. I think Noxuzaku is. So maybe it will just be a Bart, and all this thinking about what cool character could it be?
it's gonna be
It's
Fire
Bart!
Barts. Fire Barts. Is he in one? How many elements is Bart's in? He's wind. It's just wind, isn't it? I'll be a bit
Hang on, let me
disappointed
get
if it's
up.
Bart's.
Yeah,
I think he is just wind.
because he's like the wind crystal designated in the game. That's why
Yeah,
that's
he's
why the
only
characters tend to tend to keep the same element because it's all crystal based in that game.
Oh, they said it was a guy, didn't they?
They said it was a guy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean I think the realistic one is Kuja, but I'd like to see the Mobius Supreme Zeromus, something like that. Something a bit out of left field would be cool. I don't know, just something we're not necessarily expecting would be lovely.
Yeah, I'm gonna play
Or
my cynic card
Gilgamesh
and
is
say that's
fine
not
too.
gonna happen. It's gonna be
Oh,
something.
so you think it's going to be Kuja, do you?
Well, no, I mean because Kuja's red when he trances, right? Like I honestly think that's a good enough reason for them to put him in fire.
Okay, I mean, and FF9's in that element, so yeah, I could see that.
FF9
Maybe they'll make him.
fire water, isn't it? Really?
Do you reckon they'll make him like a black mage, like a genome / black mage or something like that?
It could do something. Oh, they would call VV synergy, right? Something like that.
But look, again, we're going
See,
off on a
all
tangent.
these cool things that could happen, they won't.
Yeah.
No.
But they might.
Vivi gets back black mages, so you'd be able to add that.
That's the great thing about
But then
Final
Vivi
Fantasy,
is
right?
against Kuja, isn't he?
Yeah,
but
but
they always work together.
Yeah,
in
in
the
the
card
end,
game.
everyone's good mates,
Yeah,
I haven't finished 9.
Yeah, the end cutscene is everyone just has a handshake and then just the end.
As a pat on the
Yeah.
back. Yeah, sorry about that.
PG, well
yeah.
played. Yeah.
What was I thinking? Oh, well, it's nice to have some hype and excitement, but yeah, it's just us thinking of silly ideas that will never happen. Just be crushingly depressed when the cards come out.
Yeah, it's like one of those really nice, really vivid dreams, and then you wake up and you're like, oh yeah, that's actually what the set is. It's not what I was dreaming about. It feels bad.
One day we'll get a proper Marlborough as well, because that deserves a proper card.
I really would like a monster legend. I'm not gonna lie.
A proper monster, a legend Marlborough. I've say it many times, because that is like one of the most iconic monsters from Final Fantasy, and they're always, whenever you get the encounter and it's Marlborough, you know you're probably gonna die. So to get like a proper worthy one for that would be awesome, but we'll see.
Let's get the bad breath going.
Bad breath, yeah. That'd be good. Yeah, something like that would be cool. But yeah, for now, my hype is on the FF10 deck. Just want to see the last few cards get revealed from that. Oren is my favourite character in all of Final Fantasy. He's got pretty crap cards at the moment, and not enough of them. So I'd like to hope his one is good. I think he's in water now, rather than fire. So that's a bit of a worry, but I hope it's good. And I'll live off that. If the rest of the set's crap, I don't care.
Imagine that imagine they release a water Auron for the card of the week, and then no, they'll release the water Auron. That's like, this is the water card.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
now
now
he's a
Auron's
fire orange.
yeah, and then yeah, now there's two
I'll
elements.
take it. 2 new oranges. I'll take that. I'll take that all day long.
Yeah, just a playable one would be nice.
A playable one would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Just,
Yeah.
I don't need much, just a playable Auron.
There's some more 8 as well, as usual. Bit more variety there. So yeah, getting into the same old new set dreams.
Yeah, you got the new school. What more do you need?
New school, yeah. I don't want more schools.
I really like that artwork. I will say that. I'm not sure about the card, but I like the artwork.
The collector school, the collectible
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I think there's a lot of new artwork for this set actually. That might signpost. Let me just find it, because that might signpost us some more reasonable clues to who it's going to be.
Lunarith's always in fire. Lael's always in earth, I think. Reeves there, and I think he's always lightning.
Someone did make a list, I think, on the YYT. It was slightly inaccurate because it had Vayne on there, even though Vayne's already been a fire card. But like, I think it had most of them. If I can just find it quickly.
Yeah, that was great actually, but it does
Yes.
pain me to see everyone getting excited and coming up with all these ideas when it's gonna
gonna be Kane.
It's gonna be Kane, yeah. I'm so convinced. I don't want to be right. Hopefully I'm not right. Yeah, so these are the original arts that we've got. So there's FF9, Dissidia, so that could be, there's a few Dissidia actually, 1, 2, 3, 4 Dissidia artists. So that's everyone, isn't it? Dissidia. Could be anybody.
Pretty much, yeah.
Tactics Advance. Final Fantasy 12. So I know Mitchie joked it could be another Varn legend. Fire Varn.
Yeah.
I think all hell would break loose. FF4.
Although there's been a light Varn, so, and a water one,
Oh,
and
okay,
wind.
so
So,
we're right.
I think we're okay.
It should be okay. FF3 and 4, I've got one.
Oh,
3,
yeah,
11, Mobius, and then Final Fantasy 10 are the original artworks.
So
A nice mix this time.
Tidus is water, and then they're releasing the light version, which makes it there's 2 elements. I don't think that's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be that, but
No,
This is what the podcasts have become now.
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah,
guess
it would-
cards.
yeah,
We're
furious.
gonna
Right.
sit here. It's only meant to be an hour, but we're gonna sit here until Thursday, trying to guess it until it's finally revealed.
countdown.
Yeah.
The card of the week countdown.
All the
we could
little
do a
nuances
live
of it.
reaction, couldn't we? That could be our
Yeah,
new-
live reaction. Right, we giga brain it. We write down all these theories, all these little possibilities it could be by studying every card and every character, and then out comes Kane, and we're like, yeah, man, we saw this coming, but we still fell for it, you know.
Yeah, live reaction. We'll just sit from 4 o'clock on a Thursday, just refreshing
Yeah.
on live on stream. refresh. I think there's people that do that. Fair play to you. If you're a person who just sits and refreshes the page till it comes out. But yeah, I mean, we should probably wrap up there. I think, I don't know. We've tried to talk as much as we can with very little content to talk about. We've managed an hour. That's pretty good going. So yeah, so that was our somewhat bleak outlook for 2022. Hopefully there was some level of positivity in there. I think, yeah, hang in there. I think it's going to get better. And keep buying the cards so that we can keep playing when it comes. But yeah, I think go ahead, Mitch.
I think if people are up like traveling and stuff like that, you will find somewhere that you can always play. If you put the time and effort in, like me and Tom were mentioning before, that we're going to go to Brotherhood and play. So then we get some games. If you're willing to put the time and effort into going to play, maybe not at your own locals, for some people, but then you will get to play with other people. They're still online and available. There are places that you can play to get like the fix that you need. So I think that'll just be something we're just gonna have to.
Yeah, we have to put a
accept
bit more
for now.
effort in this time. It's not going to be on our doorstep. But there's some new stuff popping up in the UK as well. Some new stores joining the scene, which is really good. So yeah, I think, yeah, like I said, I'm sort of looking into start not traveling too far because I can't really, but yeah, getting down, try and come down to Brotherhood. We'll let you know in advance, Alex, so you can book that shift off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Make sure let all the guys know to bring their best decks down.
Yeah, well, you don't need to worry about that. Just you're probably better off warning them to not turn up that day. Take the week off. But yeah, cool. No, but thank you for joining us. If you've been watching the live stream, thank you if you're listening on your podcast player and Spotify, etc. We'll try and keep these fairly frequently, which we say this every time. When there's stuff worth talking about, like we'll do it, and once things get going, we'll be able to roll on a much more regular schedule. But we don't want to just sort of thrash out the same stuff all the time and just moan about everything. But yeah, it's been nice to chat about the game again. Yeah, as the spoilers come out, I guess we'll have new cards to talk about, so we can do a little spoiler preview. We'll definitely be doing the Legends review coming up, and yeah, Alex, thanks for joining us again. Your pearls of wisdom.
Thanks,
And,
lads.
are you
Have a
still
good time.
streaming?
Yeah, when I got the time, when I got the things to talk about. Same with you guys. I don't
Yeah.
stream unless there's something worth talking about. So hopefully there is lots of things to talk about very soon.
Cool. All right. Well, until next time, thanks very much, and we will see you later.
Stay cool, everyone.
Bye.